Hi guys, and welcome back to Starry Flowers. The last episode, Pastille and Periwinkle, well, they went on a date. Well, Pastille made the first move and invited Periwinkle onto a date. And now Periwinkle invited him to his place of work. Well, yeah. When we entered the apothecary, it looks to be completely empty. Astragalus usually sits in the back room consumed in her work until she hears a chime of a customer answering. If you ask me, she could really use another helper to liven up the place. But I suppose the hustle and bustle of an ever-busy shop would have its own setbacks. Feel free to look around. I'm going to go and greet the owner. Sure. Periwinkle leans over the counter to peek into the back room. Astragalus, you have a customer. Oh, Periwinkle, didn't expect to see you back so soon. I brought Pastille, we're on a date. Okay. She looks over to Pastille, who lives when he notices he's being watched. Astragalus turns back to Periwinkle. I take it you decide not to heed my advice? What advice? Why bother coming to me if you're just gonna do whatever you want? Well, whatever. Is there a reason you're here? I thought I'd drop by to give you a little update. As you can see, everything's fine now. Sure, very normal of you to suddenly bring one of your dates here. Is it not? I visit you all the time. Yeah, not for stuff like this. Anyway, I want you to meet Pastille. Pastille, come over here. Startled is suddenly being called upon, Pastille fumbles the bottle he was holding and it crashes onto the floor. Oh no. Hey, you break it, you buy it. Sorry, I can fix it. Pastille sweeps the pieces of the bottle into a pile along with its powdered contents. He holds his hand over the pile, now glowing with magic, and the three of them watch as it reassembles perfectly before them. Oh, that's impressive. He's done it so quickly. There, good as new. Bring it here. Sure, sorry. I can't help but feel I put Pastille in yet another uncomfortable situation. Damn, can't even tell I was ever busted up. This kind of magic your specialty? Not really, I only learned it because I thought I'd come in handy. Huh. Astragalus continues expecting the bottle and then takes it into the back room without saying another word. Wow, I suppose she was impressed too. Is she mad at me? I can't really tell. It looks like you were spared today. That spell really saved you. I can't believe I did that. I'm not usually this clumsy and square. Oh, but wouldn't it be adorable if you were? Pastille the klutz. No, I'm just gonna go wait outside. Don't be too hard on yourself. I promise you made a better impression than you think. Pastille walks out of the apothecary and I lean against the counter, waiting for Astragalus to re-emerge from the back room. But when she does, it's with a bag full of, well, I'm not quite sure. Where did your boyfriend go? You shouldn't call him that. May I ask, what is it that you're holding? You're not boyfriends yet. Busted lamp. I've been meaning to glue it back together myself until I saw the opportunity to save myself the trouble. How offensive. Take it to a repair shop like everyone else. Nah, waste of money. You better keep that boy around. He's useful. You certainly changed your tune. He's cute. I get a good vibe from him. Anyway, bring him back in sometime so I can get this lamp fixed. Got it? You won't be doing that. Seriously though, where I'm from, we were taught that you can tell a lot about a witch from their magic. And his, very empathetic, sincere, compassionate. Well, you aren't wrong, but how can you judge just that sort of thing after witnessing one little spell? Ha, wouldn't you like to know? I don't need your superstitions. I have a date to get back to. Alright, have fun, Periwinkle. Oh, and I very much intend to. Smiling to himself, Periwinkle strides confidently out the door to where Pastille is waiting. Hey, do I still need to pay for that bottle? She didn't mention it. Phew, I'm glad I can fix it. I was worried it might be expensive. You never told me you were so good at magic. As I recall, you said you have been living without it? Yeah, mostly. I won't get into the reasons why, but I got back into studying it recently. Astragalus certainly thought you were talented. I'm impressed too, of course. Thanks. If only I can use magic to stop myself from being a klutz. Oh, are you embracing that nickname now? No, please go back to saying my sweet. If you like that one so much, I suppose I have no choice. I just meant... Never mind, don't call me anything. Pastille. We resume our stroll around town. This time it's Pastille who takes the lead. He seems to have some place in mind but hasn't said as much. He merely takes my hand and leads me up on a labyrinth of stairs. And once we reach the top, a gust of wind swoops through the trees overhead, showering us in flower petals. Ah, peach blossoms. It's nice, isn't it? I can't help but think you're trying to tell me something right now. Huh? Don't you remember my aphrodisiac was also peach scented? I wasn't thinking about that. I just was trying to think of other places we could go, and this one came to mind. It's lovely, very romantic. Straight out of shoujo manga, honestly. How does he know I'm weak to such things? You don't have to stay. I mean, we've already walked around so much. It's okay for you if you want to head back now. Not to do things. I just meant I'm just gonna stop talking. Pastille? Yes? He presented me quite the conundrum. If I kiss you now, you definitely want to return home with me as soon as possible. But I wasn't done learning all about you. I'm not ready for our date to end. Oh, that is a conundrum. I'm not saying that right, am I? Yes, you see, both options are equally appealing. However, can I decide? Well, it's still light out. Maybe we could hold back until after dinner. Or I can have you for dinner. On the other hand, you bring up a valid point. Holding back is fun in itself. You expect me to recover after what you just said? See, this is quite fun. It's decided then. The date continues. I give Pastille a moment to calm himself. We walk up to the railing and look out of the town. You can see Altair Suites from here and the train station next to it. My house is somewhere in a row of similarly built homes, inconspicuous. Fallen petals litter the bricks at our feet, with every little breeze carrying a few more over the railing to land somewhere unknown. After watching them for a while, I turn back to Pastille. Tell me about your magic. Okay, what do you want to know? Your specialty, dear. If you were that good at reconstruction, I can imagine it must fall somewhere in that category. Not really. I'm actually an astral witch. How rare. What exactly does that entail for you? Well, I mostly use it for fire spells like anyone else. Forgive me, I'm not well versed in magic theory, but doesn't astral magic have something to do with creation? It does, but that stuff is pretty advanced. I haven't been able to find any books explaining how to use it. Which is probably for the best, actually. No one should be allowed to go around creating souls spontaneously. Explains why they're rare. Still rubs the back of his neck, looking off into the distance. Seems so troubled by the subject because he's guilty of doing that. I suppose he has been living without magic. It may feel strange to openly discuss it. An astral witch, though, I wouldn't have guessed. Putting two and two together, one thing makes perfect sense now. So the famous Altair Suites golem was your creation. Is she really that famous? I expect our sales to be a little bit better if that were the case. But yeah, just don't go around telling everyone. I didn't know what I was doing when I made her. What an amazing feat, and yet you sound almost ashamed of it. It's not like I regret it or anything. Gumdrop is really great. I feel bad that she's stuck in a body with so many limitations, like she didn't ask to be made that way. I didn't know you could even make golems that felt real emotions, so of course I never considered any of that. Sorry to go off about it. I've just been feeling really guilty lately. Kind of a heavy topic? No, thank you for telling me. It's as if I discovered a whole new side of you today. I'm grateful to know it. Thanks for listening. I don't get too many chances to talk about things like this, so I'm grateful for it too. Hearing you speak of her though, I'd love to meet this golem of yours one day. Sure, maybe one day. Pastille is amazing. Never met anyone who could downplay their talents this much. I get asked 1,000 questions and still only scratch the surface. Now I'm the insatiable one. How the tables have turned. We decide it's time to move on and descend the stairs from whence we came, still chatting endlessly as we decide where we'll wander to next. Over dinner, Pastille opens up a little more. We trade antidotes, listening intently to each other's story no matter how unremarkable the events told within them. I could never get tired of it. I was hooked by his every word. Alas, the hours flew by, and our day together was quickly approaching its end. But now we had the whole night to look forward to. The sun was on its way down as we emerged back onto the street, the atmosphere so different than it had been just a short while ago. Pastille brushes his bangs aside and asks, "Do you want to head back? It's starting to get late." He waited so patiently to be able to say that. It's not like you aren't thinking of it too. Let's go through the park. It's a shorter walk. Sure, after you. Periwinkle extends his hand, which Pastille takes without hesitation. Under the cover of dusk, they walk towards the park with fingers gently intertwined. His park during twilight hours is nearly always deserted. Tonight was no exception. We had the entire place to ourselves. This way I can cling to Pastille all I want. And on top of that, what are you smiling about? Finally, no one's around. We talked all about the inappropriate things we want. I knew there was something dangerous about taking this shortcut. It's okay then, right? No one would overhear your lascivious confessions. Okay, what do you want to know? Oh, I didn't think you actually agree. I don't have anything prepared. Oh, really? How anticlimactic. Unless you're dying to tell me how much you love being domed. I'm not gonna say that. Any fetishes then? I have experience with all sorts, you know. This is too much. I need to sit down. Pastille begins his retreat to a nearby bench. He perhaps into fooling around outdoors. That's illegal. Only kidding. Periwinkle follows Pastille to the bench and sits down beside him, leaning his head on his shoulder. Your sweatshirt is so warm. Are you upset with me for suggesting such a scandalous idea? No, but if you cling to me too much, I'm worried I might change my mind. I wouldn't want to compromise your morals, but I also hate to let it go. Pastille laughs at that, resigned to his fate. The pair sits in comfortable silence for a while, listening only to the sound of bouncing before them. Periwinkle could start to feel himself being lulled to sleep by it, and so he tries speaking up again. I don't know what it is about you, Pastille. You talked all day, and yet I still don't feel like it's enough. I didn't really expect to be out this late either. It just kind of happened. This was all supposed to be foreplay, wasn't it? Forgive me for putting it so bluntly. I guess it was. But still, we have to get back to my place. Oh, okay. Right, straightforward. Alright. You're really being a little blunt right now. We have to. It's the entire purpose of foreplay, isn't it? How could you have let it go on for so long? We can head back right now? Yes? You're gonna have to stand up first. In a moment. They fall asleep, but trapped in their comfortable position on that bench, Periwinkle is unable to stand in the end. Instead, he falls asleep to the sounds of the fountain and Pastille's beating heart. Absolutely love how blunt he is. Chapter 5, Still Full of Emotion. Periwinkle wakes up in his bed the next morning alone. Pastille? No response. No evidence of him either, none of his clothes laying out, no blankets out of place. I'm wearing pajamas, though I don't remember changing into them. In fact, I don't remember coming home at all. Did I fall asleep then? I vaguely remember being carried, but... He pauses. And then suddenly throws the covers off himself and leaps from bed. He truly isn't here. And he changed my clothes. Was I conscious for that? I fell asleep. That's his concern. Oh god. Periwinkle paces around his room, desperately running through the events of the previous night. We're on our way here. We stopped to rest, but it was so comfortable that it is unheard of. This is the first time something like this has ever happened. We had such a nice date together. The perfect date, really. Should have ended with a bang. Normally, it would have. We both very much wanted it to. So how could I let myself fall asleep like this? No, there's no need to panic. I simply lost track of time. We have been walking around all day. Of course, I would have been worn out by the end of it. You not have much stamina? I should have accounted for that. A simple mistake. One that completely nullified all the tension I had so gradually built up. Had I gotten lost in performance then? The romantic flourish meant only to heighten the intensity of the passionate night to come. It's roleplay, pretend. The only thing genuine about it is the lust that masks it. For me to have reached a point of satisfaction before the intended finale with me, it was just a legitimate romantic date. Periwinkle stops in his track. He turns back towards his bed and crawls under the covers, wrapping himself up in them. Have I ever had one of those before? I mean, I certainly don't expect every date to end in sexual encounter. Sometimes the partner just isn't ready or something comes up. It isn't that was old. No, it's that we never even reached the bedroom. That's never happened. The thought sinks in. Periwinkle slowly unwraps himself from his blankets and sits up in bed. I'm overreacting. Yes, I'm really embarrassed that I had to be carried home and tucked into bed to be taken care of like that. Usually I'm the one who takes care of things, and I just feel ridiculous. Something isn't right here. There has to be an explanation. It's safe to admit, at this point, that I'm very sensitive to matters that involve Pastille. But where did that begin? It wouldn't have started just the other day. Things were relatively normal, though I was seeing him quite often, more so than other partners in the past. This has progressed too far beyond casual. What could have caused this? He thinks for a moment before walking out of his bedroom with purposeful strides. Going immediately to the bookcase, he tosses a few things aside and pulls down the box of his favorite perfumes. He then carefully extracts a bottle filled with pale pink liquid. You must be the culprit. This aphrodisiac, no, love potion. I wanted to see Pastille's reaction when I called it that. An inconsequential little joke? Well, it kept coming up. There must be something to it. Did the peach problem yesterday have further amplified its effects? Yes, it all makes sense now. Whether it be my own magic or some kind of chain reaction with pastilles, I've somehow unintentionally created a scent that evokes romantic obsession with witches. There's research to be done. I had to put an end to these artificially inspired feelings. Like I will admit, that just likes him. I'll create an anti-aphrodisiac then, something to cancel out its effects. At which point, everything will go back to normal. There's no problem at all. Convinced by his new theory, Periwinkle dresses himself up and heads out to find a solution. Alrighty, this outfit's fine. Head directly to the potion supply shop just a few blocks away. It's brimming with reference materials, though I only usually come by to purchase magic containers. The vials hold my perfumes. Navigating your shelves of spell manuals and encyclopedias, I find myself somewhat overwhelmed. Soon the shopkeeper comes to my aid. Good afternoon, Periwinkle. And what might you be looking for today? New bottles, a book, or perhaps me? Amoretti, it's lovely to see you, but I'm strictly here for business. Playing the professional today, I see. Your loss. Few witches have ever come close to my level of flirty energy, but Amoretti is one of them. You have fooled around at a party once or twice, but who's to say? As much as your company would be a welcome distraction, I'm afraid removing my self-inflicted curse takes priority. There is actually something you can help me with. But first, would you happen to know anything about aphrodisiacs? Aphrodisiacs. Magic that sways the heart, stimulates the libido. They do end up being classified as dark magic because of the manipulative aspects, but a few popular spellbooks happen to contain instructions for consensual usage. Is that what you're looking for? Yes, sir. Rather, assuming those books also contain instructions for canceling the effects. Did something go wrong in the bedroom? You can tell me about it. Nothing to get embarrassed about. No, it's much more complicated than that. Which spell books do you say I could find this information in? I like to look through them if possible. You're lying to me, aren't you? You just want to learn these spells to spice things up in the bedroom. Not everything is sexually sweet to... Okay, I'm ready. Well then, no, you aren't the type. Come on, why don't you just tell me? I can't help you if you don't give up any details. All I want to know is whether or not aphrodisiac induced feelings of romantic love can be nullified. The details aren't important. So it is love. Why does she insist on wasting my time? A larger sounding thud from down the aisles startles both Amoretti and Periwinkle. The pair turns to see a much shorter witch standing there fuming. Ugh, if I had to listen to you two ignore Mrs. babble on for another second, I'm going to lose it. There's another customer here? How long had they been listening? First off, stop conflating aphrodisiacs and love potions. They are entirely separate categories. A witch who sells potion supplies should at least know that much. You sell a whole book about it right here. She gestures to the thick tome she had slammed onto the floor at the beginning of her outburst. So that's the one I was thinking of. You'll find everything you need to know about canceling your love spell in there, Periwinkle. No, you won't. I like her name's Nasty Witch. You won't? Because it's not freaking love spell to begin with. I find it majorly unlikely someone's been able to pull off a spell like that when I've been trying for literal years. Ah, well, thank you. That certainly answers my question. Since you're familiar with these things, I must ask, if not a love spell, could it have been a side effect of some other type of magic? Ha, a side effect. You think it's so easy it could be tacked on just like that? So placebo effect is more like it, in which case all you need to do is stop thinking about it and it go away. Dumbass. Oh really? That saves me so much trouble. Thanks for the advice. If that shopkeeper would have done her research. The witch's angry shouts fade into placated mumbles as she storms out of their shop. You have handled that so well, you should work in retail. Oh, I'm the one that's in need of a new career now. After that exchange? Amaretti gives a nervous laugh and steps away to return the spellbook to its proper shelf. After bidding her farewell, Periwinkle exits the store to begin his short walk home. A placebo, of course it's just a placebo. I should have thought of it sooner. There was never any cause for alarm. This is just like before. It has nothing to do with Pastille. It just happens to be the one my mind is fixating on. It's precisely as that temperamental little witch said. If I stopped thinking about him, the problem will resolve with its own. And so I must take a few days to focus on myself. At least until I can find my way out of this odd state I've ended up in. Operation Stop Thinking About Pastille, Phase 1. Let's see, the optimal distracting task would be... work, of course. Perhaps I could begin with the transformer enrollment I thought of yesterday. But that idea came about during our date. I should be avoiding any and all memories tied to him at the moment. This may prove more difficult than I anticipated. No matter, just warm up with a nice bergamot scent for now. Periwinkle retrieves a few empty vials from his box of perfume supplies and readies his wand. But instead of the bright green drops he expected, what comes out is a familiar pale pink. Peach, this isn't right at all. He seals the bottle and moves on to the next, which, much to his dismay, yields the same result. Okay, magic is tied to emotions. I mustn't get frustrated. I have to focus. Deep breaths. It never helps to force it. Just imagine the desired scent and... He tries for a third time. And yet... Peach again? This is a waste of supplies. So much for my attempt at diligence. If I can't conjure other scents, I'll have to find something else to occupy my time. Oh, housework. I can finally get some chores done around here. Nothing could possibly distract me from finishing them today, but they are a distraction. Oh, that's right. I still had laundry to put away, didn't I? His room is always a mess. Periwinkle walks into his bedroom to face the pile of clothes he hadn't folded yet. Whenever I tell myself I'll get to it later, I tend to leave it for days. With a single large pile he expected wasn't there. Instead, it was split into two, with one half already neatly folded. I don't remember making this much progress. No, Pastille did this, didn't he, when he came to pick me up yesterday? Curse, this is too good. I can't touch this right now. Periwinkle covers the pile of neatly folded clothes with the rest of the unfolded ones in retaliation. There, one less reminder to worry about. Now I'm going to have to think of something else to do. So far, my attempts at forgetting about Pastille have been completely futile. But that's perfectly fine. No one said it was going to be easy. Ironically, the more you tell yourself not to think about something, the more your mind will be enticed by it. I mustn't let this consume me. I have to find a way to relax. A nice bath should help calm my nerves. Later that evening, I'm feeling so refreshed, I could do just about anything. I should try cooking for myself tonight. Now there's a task that will require my full attention. Periwinkle opens up the fridge for ideas. A pint of milk, a few cups of yogurt, some eggs, whipped cream. There isn't much in the way of meals, is there? This is why I never cook. I could try making an omelet, breakfast or dinner. Oh, what fun! Periwinkle cheerfully reaches for the eggs, then pauses. Actually, can I cook without magic? He turns to face the stove. This burner is the kind you light with a spell. Far too nervous, my magic is going to come out smelling like peaches again. Periwinkle slams the fridge shut. Forget cooking. What was I thinking? I'm not cut out to be a chef. Pastille, on the other hand, no. Thinking of him in this delightfully domestic context is especially bad. No matter how much I want to eat his cooking now, he's obviously the type to be good at it. It is depressing. I'm already right back to where I started. I'll just order takeout. Periwinkle goes to bed that night, utterly incapable of forgetting about Pastille. Operation Seriously Do Not Think About That Boy, Day 2. I've tried working, I've tried doing chores, I've even tried to cook, all miserable failures. That's why today, I'm taking drastic measures, complete escapism. I'm returning to my roots. I'll reread one of my favorite series. If nothing else, it should make a nice source of inspiration. Periwinkle pulls out volume 1 of a certain manga from his bookshelf. Fabric of Our Love. How many years has it been? The years are always drawn so beautifully in this series. I still think of them from time to time. It's a story of a girl who's falling for a handsome prince, standard fare for the types of manga I read. Her mother is a talented seamstress who designs all sorts of dazzling gowns for her to wear, and when the prince sees her in one, he becomes smitten with her. At first she's in heaven. This is the prince she's ever dreams. But soon she wonders the prince is only attracted to the dresses, the glamour, not the poor girl underneath. So the prince reveals, I shouldn't spoil it, the ending is too sweet. It was what? After admiring the cover art for a while, Periwinkle finally opens the book and begins to read. Just as lovely as I remember, such delicate line work. I wouldn't blame that prince for noticing the dresses below the girl. They really are so beautiful. Come to think of it, the way this prince is drawn. His short, fluffy hair, his gentle features remind me of. Periwinkle closes the book in a panic. That was dangerous. I can't risk even thinking his name. And there's even a later chapter where he's dressed in servant's clothing. There are too many parallels. Periwinkle rolls across his bed and slides the book back into its place on his shelf. This isn't fair. How can one of my most beloved series be off limits in my time of need? He scans through the different titles once more before landing on a 12-volume series. I don't remember this one as clearly, but an all-girl story should be safe. Periwinkle pulls a new book from his bookshelf and quietly immerses himself in his fictional world. Before I knew it, I finished reading all 12 volumes. The whole day has flown right by. I couldn't help but keep turning the pages. The story was so much more than I remembered. The protagonist was nothing to write home about but her childhood friend. What a moving character arc. He's very charismatic from the start, the kind of person you'd think has it all figured out, but you couldn't be more wrong. Over the course of the series, she goes through so many love interests. Back in the day, I assumed it was because the author couldn't make up their mind. Ruining it all at once, it must have been planned from the beginning. These doomed relationships are merely self-sabotage, a distraction from pursuing her one true love. He never realized the obvious answers until the very end, and what an emotional finale. When she finally confesses, the two girls share their first kiss. The fireworks. Could anything be more romantic? Her tears of happiness, finally being honest with herself and with her best friend, how lovely. The well of loneliness that is her character was portrayed so flawlessly. She's the most real of them all. Ending the story any other way would have been an injustice. She deserves the world. I own this author's bottled up series as well, don't I? Time to get some stacks and start searching for it. You can't resist diving in right away. Operation Escape Reality, Day 3. Periwinkle continues to read. And read. And read. Until he heard a knock at his door. Pastille, no, this isn't his knock. Wait, I was trying to forget about him. Though I suppose it means I was successful for a while. I even forgot what I was avoiding something to do. I was avoiding something to begin with. There, I said it right. When he opens the door, Periwinkle is greeted by a small crowd of friends and acquaintances. Periwinkle, get dressed, we're hitting the clubs. Wow, the whole cavalry's arrived. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to decline. Tonight isn't going to work for me. What? But no one's seen you in ages. You haven't abandoned us for a new scene, have you? Oh, nothing like that. I've just been a little preoccupied. I'm taking some time to myself at the moment. Nothing wrong with a little self-care, but are you sure you don't want to come out and enjoy the nightlife? I don't know. I've fallen so behind on my work. Choosing work over getting laid? Now I know something's up with you. How offensive. I have more going on than just going out and flirting with everyone I meet. Ha, of course. I do appreciate the invitation though. Thank you for thinking of me. Just had to come and make sure you were still alive. The clubs are lonely without you. I have to make my grand return some other time then. Have a lovely evening. The group waves goodbye and disappears into the night. It's been a while since I've had to turn them down. Periwinkle leans his back against the door and sighs. I'm definitely not in any state to go clubbing right now. No matter how much it warms my heart to know that I am missed, I won't be making the same mistake as the other night. I can't go recklessly diving into the comforting arms of another as long as my mind is still hung up on Pastille. Now how long will I remain in this state? Hiding myself away, binge-reading comics? These were emergency measures. I can't avoid the outside world forever. In any case, shouldn't Pastille be returning here at some point? From where we had left off, I expected him to come knocking as soon as possible. And yet, it's been 3 full days now, hasn't it? How long can he possibly abstain from my touch, or is something wrong? I shouldn't be thinking about any of this, but I'm beginning to feel annoyed, confused. If he never comes back, I suppose my problem would go away on its own. But I hate the thought of that. As things are now, I can only be haunted by thoughts of what I could have possibly done wrong. What is my plan then? Continue to ping-pong back and forth between these extreme emotional states? He rubs his eyes in exhaustion. I'll worry about this tomorrow. Periwinkle steps back into his room and tucks himself into bed with his books. But an hour later, another knock comes. This time the patter is unmistakable. Pastille is here. Well. So he's come after all. Despite all my hard work for trying to forget, I've actually been waiting for this moment, haven't I? I don't care what these feelings might mean anymore. I'm tired of fighting them. I just want Pastille. He opens the door and sure enough, Pastille is the one he finds standing there. Hi. Why, good evening. What can you have possibly come for at this hour? To pick up where we left off the other night, maybe? It's about time. Come in. Sorry, I meant to come see you sooner. I had a few things to sort out before I... Hush now. That's not where we left off at all, was it? Huh? Yeah, I guess not. I'm more interested in how you got me home that night. You see, the last thing I remember is sitting on that bench. Well, I was having a hard time waking you up, so I just ended up carrying you. The whole way by yourself. I mean, having a broom to ride helped a lot. Alright, the right brooms. They're witches. Periwinkle closes in. We rode it together then. That was the easiest way, yes? You must have held me so close so I wouldn't fall. I did. Putting your hand all over me, I didn't fill you up while you were unconscious. He gave me a big kiss. I was only kidding. But you also changed my clothes, because I thought you'd be more comfortable that way. It was an innocent gesture. I can't believe you saw my bare chest. I've already seen it. Pastille suddenly lifts him up by the waist and hoists him over his shoulder. Pastille? Please handle me more delicately. Alrighty. When they reach the bed, Pastille falls backward onto it, taking Periwinkle with him. Oh my god. He paused there a moment, laughs, fading to soft breaths. He forgot to turn the light off. Well, I can't get up now. How can he be so impatient after making me wait till so long? Oh well. Chapter 6, Longing. Alright, I'm going to end the episode here today. So, Ryan Periwinkle finally realized that he's in love with Pastille. It took him long enough. I don't know how Pastille feels right now. Well, he seems to like him, but we'll see when they actually confess to each other. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Bye!